Miles Shipside is Commercial Director of Rightmove.co.uk, and he's with us now. Miles, well, you know, you're seeing a down leg, but is it going to have more of it? Because, I mean, the issue has been, with the rally that we've seen in house prices, there's just simply no property on the market.
That's right, and I think that'll actually continue into next year, certainly for the first half. We normally, in 2007, for example, measured 2 million properties coming onto the market. We think there's just going to be just over 1 million this year. So that shortage of supply has helped, but we are in the winter quarter at the moment, so one would expect a downturn in asking prices as sellers are keener to sell that put their properties on the market over the winter period. But we do forecast a bit of a spring spurt pre-election.
Right, why would that happen?
Well, it's a traditional time of year, people getting more optimistic, but also people get concerned once an election arrives. They tend to freeze their lives, even though perhaps they can't influence what goes on.
But are the banks, you know, lending money at the moment? I mean, that's been key as well.
We have seen a recovery to a degree in mortgage lending, which is fairly snail pace, but they are being particularly choosy. I can't see that changing particularly next year, may even tighten up after the election. And one of the key things as well after the election is that banks have shown a lot of forbearance with lenders in arrears, and it's going to be another 6-9 months further on post-election, and will they actually show the same forbearance? So will there be more repossessions that will drive prices down in the second half?
So more of the same until after the election, so we're looking at post-June. Is that what you're suggesting? That's
right, and I think we'll actually see rises in the first half of the year, but then perhaps some falls in the second half of the year. Overall, the outlook fairly flat for 2010.
Right, let's talk about the house prices at the moment, and what we saw is the borough of Kensington-Chelsea, probably the most expensive borough in the country, falling 5%. Now, why was that the case?
Still good year on year, though. The sort of purchases in the upper end areas tend to not purchase around Christmas time, but overall on the year, up 14%, so one of the best performing boroughs with shortage of supply and foreign purchases.
Does that go into next year, especially if we have sterling remaining at these weak levels?
Absolutely. Properties in London are a bargain in certain sectors for foreign purchases with the weakness of the pound.
Right, what about overall in the UK as well? What are the worst areas, which are perhaps the better areas to be?
I think there's going to be a north-south divide, more forced sales in the north of the country with unemployment and banks showing less forbearance to people in arrears, but the southern part of the country, still a shortage of supply, and that's going to underpin prices.
Miles, thank you so much for coming in. Miles Shipside there is from, he's a Commercial Director at Rightmove.co.uk.